We are learning now new information in the murder of 21-year-old Stephanie Flores in Peru. I want to bring in CNN's Rafael Romo, live from Lima. And Rafael, this information comes on the heels of Joran van der Sloot's reported confession in the case. What else can you tell us?
Well, we have heard from Peruvian officials details. We're learning some new details about the way the homicide of 21-year-old Stephanie Flores happened on Sunday, May 30th, here at this hotel behind me, the Tac Hotel in Lima. What they tell us is that morning, the then suspect, Joran van der Sloot, left this hotel and went to get some coffee at a gas station nearby. He came back, and when he returned, he realized that the victim, Stephanie Flores, was taking a look at his computer and had learned that he had been implicated in the disappearance case of Natalee Holloway in 2005 in Aruba. He became enraged. An argument ensued. She slapped him. He attacked her, beat her up, and ended up breaking her neck. That's what police told us today. That's the most recent information on the case. Some other information that we have is that police are trying to set up a moment here at the hotel so that he can come back and do a reenactment and tell them exactly step by step what happened. That's part of the legal process. That's part of something that has to happen before the case goes to a judge. He has yet to be formally charged in the death of Stephanie Flores, and also we have learned that he has requested to see his mother. He spoke with her on the phone on Saturday, but she is not here yet. Anjali.
Any other details at this point, Rafael, about van der Sloot's demeanor? I mean, how he's dealing with life since his arrest?
Well, he's been held at a cell in the Criminal Investigations Division at the Peruvian National Police. He's been there since Saturday when he arrived here in Lima. He is being under the watch of a police officer 24 hours a day. That's what the Director of Information of the Peruvian National Police told me today. I asked him, is there any indication that he intends to harm himself? He said, no, that's just regular procedure here in Peru. When they have a high-profile case like this, that's what they do. Once he is formally charged, he's going to be sent to a different prison so that the process can begin, Anjali.
And as you talk, Rafael, we're just looking at pictures of Joran van der Sloot, and there's flashbulbs going on all around him. I suppose, you know, that would prove how much attention this is getting in Peru. Just describe for us what's going on.
It's a huge case here in Lima, Anjali, not only because of who he is and his ties to Aruba and what happened before, but also because Stephanie Flores was the daughter of a very prominent businessman here, Ricardo Flores, who at one time was a vice presidential candidate here in Lima. So as you can imagine, she belonged to a family that is very well known here in Lima in entrepreneurial circles as well as social circles. And her death has been front page news for about a week now.
Okay, Rafael, thank you very much indeed. And you're staying right on top of this for us. Rafael Romo there, live in Lima. Well, here is some background for you on Joran van der Sloot. He's 22 years old, born in the Netherlands. He attended an international school in Aruba, which is a Dutch island in the Caribbean. Well, that was where in 2005 he was arrested in connection with the disappearance of American high school student Natalee Holloway. Van der Sloot's late father was a lawyer studying to be a judge in Aruba. It's believed the elder van der Sloot had some influence in the country and helped keep his son out of jail. Let's get some legal insight into this case now. For that, we go to Kendall Coffey, a trial lawyer and former federal prosecutor in the United States. He joins us from Miami. Kendall, first of all, you know, we saw that incriminating tape of Joran van der Sloot leaving his hotel room. Now we've got this confession. I know that, you know, you used to be on the prosecution side, but put yourself in defense shoes. Wouldn't they just be throwing up their hands at this point?
Well, it looks even more hopeless than it might have seemed when the defense was confronted with the fact that the murdered woman was found in his hotel room, the surveillance which placed them together right before the death, and of course the fact that he flees the country. All these are incredibly difficult facts to overcome. Now you've got a confession on top of that. The only defense strategy you can try here, if you're trying to set aside the confession, is to say he was intimidated, he was frightened, he was told that he had no chance, and basically coerced because, among other things, he was isolated far away from his family, his political connections, and confronting a situation where the murder victim was part of a very well-connected, prominent, and respected family. So he was in the most hopeless possible situation and was basically coerced into confession. That's the defense strategy that would have to be, but boy, it's hard to see anything like that working.
A confession in Peru does tend to mean a lighter sentence. Do you expect him now to be treated leniently?
No, I don't. He may theoretically be eligible for lighter sentence, but consider the fact that the family is certainly going to push for a maximum sentence. Consider the fact that many people believe, including authorities in Aruba, that he murdered Natalee Holloway. I think what is likely here is no form of leniency, but they will go by the book. They're not going to mistreat him. They're not going to abuse him. The eyes of the world are watching this case very closely, so he will be given the full measure and stern justice, but they'll go by the book, and he'll be treated humanely, and all of his rights under Peruvian law will be observed.
Do you expect the words Natalee Holloway to feature anywhere in this trial when it does come to trial, Kendall? Or will the judge just say, you know what, there wasn't enough evidence in Aruba to hold him anyway, I'm not going to allow it?
I think the evidence with respect to the Natalee Holloway case is not going to be brought into this trial, although if in fact part of the apparent motive was that she was supposedly looking into his computer, getting information about Natalee Holloway, that'll give the prosecution plenty of opportunity to bring the haunting, tragic image of Natalee Holloway right into the Peruvian courtroom.
You were talking about the eyes of the world, and you're absolutely right, Kendall. I mean, they are firmly trained on Joran van der Sloot at this point. So with that in mind, do you think that he can get a fair trial?
Well, I think he will get a trial by the book. I think his rights will be observed in a legal sense. But the entire country has got to have found him guilty in the court of public opinion. I mean, he's been paraded as a suspect. The newspaper coverage has been brutal. And on top of that, the evidence is overwhelming. So it's going to be a huge difficulty to approach his guilt or innocence and put all of that overwhelming imagery, incredibly incriminating imagery, out of one's mind. I'm sure the Peruvian authorities will do their best. But this is one case where it is very, very hard to believe that the system is going to look at him like a blank slate, like it's free from this massive days of around-the-clock confusion of frankly, very, very incriminating publicity.